Hello aspirants, welcome to ARORA IAS Academy. I am Siddharth Gautam. So as part of this session, we'll be understanding why current affairs are important for the UPSC examination. See, if it is not just for UPSC examination, it is for every competitive examination, current affairs becomes very, very important. Now, why current affairs is important, or what is the, the significance of the current affairs with respect to any of the competitive examination? See, when it comes to the current affairs, one thing that we need to understand is that current affairs is different from the, the idea or the notion that we have. The general idea of current affairs is that మనము జనరల్గా బిట్స్ రూపంలో కానీ ఓకే ఆర్ సర్టెన్ ఫ్యాక్ట్స్ రూపంలో కానీ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ చదువుకుంటాం. But this is not the way. This is not the way through which you need to read the current affairs. Current affairs need to be read in a particular context. In a particular context or in a particular circumstance or scenario. For example, consider we have one issue called as Article 143 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, where Supreme Court advises the President with respect to certain facts or certain legal issues. Now, first thing that we need to understand as far as this current affair is concerned is why it is in news. Why it is in news and what is the reason behind or what is the background with respect to this particular issue. Next, we need to understand what is the constitutional relation or what are the constitutional provisions that we have with respect to the President and the Supreme Court. Okay, and next we need to understand what are the articles that deals with the constitutional relation between the Supreme Court and the President. Okay, so if we take an issue, okay, oka issue తీసుకుంటే ఆ ఇష్యూ మొత్తం కాంప్రహెన్సివ్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ అనేది ఉండాలి. దట్ ఈస్ హౌ యూ నీడ్ టు రీడ్ ది కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్. Current affairs never should be read in the form or in the format of questions and in the format of the fill in the blanks or the multiple choice questions. That is the wrong way or that is the erroneous way of reading the current affairs. Current affairs need to be read in a particular context or in a particular scenario or in a particular, circumstance. Okay, now when you understand the topic in most comprehensive way, one advantage that it gives to us is with respect to the ప్రిలిమ్స్. ఎందుకు అంటే మనకి ప్రతి యూపీఎస్సి ప్రిలిమ్స్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్లో అరౌండ్ 10 to 15 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆర్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఆర్ ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ ఫ్రమ్ ది కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్. వై ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఆర్ ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ? బికాస్ there are direct questions which are dealt, okay, as far as the current affairs, but there are certain indirect questions with subjected to particular subject. Okay, we have current affairs questions related to economy in the form of economic survey, in the form of the budget, in the form of the the policies by the government of India. Okay, or we have the current affairs in the context of the polity. What are the recent Supreme Court judgments or what are the recent trends or recent constitutional amendments with respect to the Constitution of India. We have the current affairs with respect to the international relations. Okay, what are the recent summits that have happened? What are the recent reports that are released by different the international institutions? For example, recently we have the World Economic Outlook report by International Monetary Fund. Now, when that report is released by the International Monetary Fund, you need to have the brief understanding of what are the highlights of the report. Why? Because the question can be on very basic level, the question can be asked which report is released by which institution, okay, or which of the following institutions releases the World Economic Outlook report. Okay, the questions can be that basic to what are the content or what is the India's rank or what is the global economic trend or what is the reason for the decreasing global economic. ఓకే, సో మనకి అడ్వాన్స్ క్వశ్చన్ నుంచి బేసిక్ క్వశ్చన్ వరకు ఏ ఏరియా నుండి అయినా మనకి క్వశ్చన్ రావచ్చు. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ విచ్ ఐ హావ్ టోల్డ్ యూ ఎర్లియర్. యూ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ ది కాంప్రహెన్సివ్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్. యూ నీడ్ టు హ్యావ్ ది ద కంప్లీట్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఆఫ్ ది పర్టికులర్ టాపిక్. See, when I say complete understanding, it is not the depth of the topic, it is the horizontal knowledge of the topic. Okay, the vertical knowledge is different from the horizontal knowledge. Horizontal knowledge ante manaku anniti patla oka specific avagahana anedi undadam. Okay, we are not asking you to take one topic and dig that topic into the deeper. No, that is not the way you read the current affairs. You need to have the, what do you say, the fundamental understanding, or you need to have the essence of the particular issue. That is how you need to read the current affairs. So మనకి ఐఆర్ పరంగా చూసుకుంటే డిఫరెంట్ సమిట్స్ పరంగా క్వశ్చన్స్ రావచ్చు. ఓకే, ఆర్ రీసెంట్ what do you say, institutions in news, or the places in news, or the reports released by few of the global institutions. Okay, or India is member of which of the following groups, or India is not member of which of the following groups. Okay, or recent visits by the prime minister to different countries, or recent agreements that we have signed with respect to the other countries. For example, recently we have signed the free trade agreement with UK. Okay, now you need to understand why this free trade agreement is important on both sides, why it is important to UK, why it is important to India, and what is the, what do you say, the changing role or the changing geopolitics with respect to this particular free trade agreement. Okay, so manaki subject of current affairs anedi, it is not like any other subject. It is not like any other subject that we have like history, polity, geography, economy, where we have the fundamental concepts. The application of the current affairs can be done to all the subjects. Okay, all the current affairs that we read can be individually applied to all these subjects. Clear? So that is the one advantage of the current affairs with respect to the prelims. Next is the mains examination. The mains examination. Now, nowhere in mains examination the questions will be directly asked from current affairs. Okay, current issues nunchi adugutar, current affairs nunchi adagaru. Okay, there is a difference. The current affairs that you read as part of the prelims will be asked as question in mains in more analysis format. You need to build up the analysis, you need to build up your opinion, and that opinion should be effectively supplemented by some of the facts or some of the current affairs. For example, you read the economic survey. Okay, economic survey is part of current affairs. It is part of the economy, but every year it keeps on changing. Every year a new economic survey is released by the Ministry of Finance. Now, when you read the economic survey, you have certain data. Consider, if there is a question that is asked, what are the problems with the Indian agriculture? Problems with respect to Indian agriculture. If this is the question. Okay, now we all know the problems with respect to the Indian agriculture. The first problem is the small land holdings. Okay, now if you write the small land holdings as the reason, then you need to write the data that was released by the government of India according to the recent survey that has been conducted with respect to the land holdings. Okay, so again that data is part of current affairs. So the average land holding is 1.1 hectare. Okay, next, disguised unemployment, where so many people working on the particular piece of land. Okay, there are many people working on the particular piece of land. If particular piece of land is demanding just 5 workers, but in Indian agriculture what is happening is that there are 20 people working on the particular piece of land. So there is a disguised unemployment. Okay, but one thing that you need to understand with respect to disguised unemployment is that what is the employment rate, okay, or how many people or what percentage of India's population is dependent on agriculture. It is 46.1%. It is again as part of the survey. Okay, this data has been given as part of the survey. Next, now it is because of the disguised unemployment, there is increasing poverty. There is increasing poverty or increasing rural poverty. Now, what is the rural poverty in India? It is 4.86%. Again, this is given as part of survey. Okay, now when we know the rural poverty, we also need to know the urban poverty. Urban poverty is 4.09%. Okay, so now you need to analyze whether it is the rural poverty which is higher in India or the urban poverty. It is the rural poverty which is higher in India. So like this, the information that we read need to be applied or need to be written or need to be used as the the supplement data as far as the mains examination is concerned. మనము ఏదైతే డేటా లేకపోతే ఏదైతే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మన ప్రిలిమ్స్లో చదువుకుంటున్నామో లేకపోతే ప్రిలిమ్స్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్లో చదువుకుంటున్నామో ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ని మెయిన్స్ ఆన్సర్లో ఒక ఇన్ఫర్మేటివ్ పర్పస్గా లేకపోతే ఒక సప్లిమెంట్ అంటే మనం రాసే అనాలిసిస్కి ఒక సప్లిమెంట్ పాయింట్గా రాయడానికి చాలా హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అవుతుంది. Okay, see why I'm saying this is that in UPSC we have this saying called as opinions are cheap. Opinions are cheap. Okay, it means that everyone will write the same points. Okay, any person or any aspirant who have the primary understanding of the subject will try to write the same points, but the difference or the change, okay, or the area in which you can get more marks or the points through which you can additionally get 1 or 2 marks extra is by giving or presenting the proper data. Okay, proper examples, data, case studies, relevant committees, etc. Okay, now all these things should be current examples, current data, current state studies and current committees. Now if you highlight all the information, if you highlight the current examples, data, case studies and committees as part of your answer, then you have the high chances of getting 1 or 2 or 3 marks etc depending on the way you present your answer. Okay, that is the reason the current affairs becomes important. As I've told you earlier, current affairs is not the subject where you read who is the prime minister or who is the president of this particular country, okay, or the traditional format or the traditional way of the preparing the current affairs. That is not how you read. Okay, the current affairs is the subject or is the thing that is should be understood in more comprehensive manner. Okay, the idea that the UPSC has allotted a significant proportionate of questions with respect to current affairs is to test the awareness among the students. మనకి ట్రెడిషనల్ సబ్జెక్ట్ నాలెడ్జ్ గనకనే టెస్ట్ చేయాలి అనుకుంటే ఆబ్వియస్లీ ఇఫ్ యూ సిట్ అండ్ ప్రిపేర్ ఫర్ 2 years everything will be easily done. But that is not the idea of the UPSC. That is not the intention of the UPSC. The intention of the UPSC sorry, the intention of the UPSC is to test your awareness, is to test your the understanding of the contemporary issues. Clear? So that is the significance of the current affairs. Okay, now what are the sources? What are the sources through which you need to read the current affairs? The first source is the newspaper. The first source is the newspaper. Okay, see, remember one thing, newspaper or any other newspaper, it's not one particular newspaper, it is not written for the UPSC aspirants. The newspaper or the general idea of issuing or publishing the newspaper is for public reading. Okay, so when it is for public reading, all kind of news will be made as part of the newspaper. So we need to filter what is important for UPSC. What is important for UPSC? Clear? Second, the PIB, Press Information Bureau. Now the PIB, just like newspaper, it should be a daily ritual. Just like newspaper, how do you read daily? The PIB also need to be a daily ritual. Okay, why I'm saying is that because the majority of the questions that are read as part of the monthly magazine or that has dealt as part of the mock test or any other ways, the articles or the information is derived from the PIB only. Okay, so PIB become the primary source or PIB becomes the primary information through which all the content that is present in the market is prepared. Okay, so make it sure that the PIB becomes or the PIB is part of your daily ritual. Okay, the newspaper and PIB need to be part of your daily ritual. Clear? Next, the third thing is the magazines like Yojana. Even if you have the time, you can read the Kurukshetra, but the Yojana becomes very, very important. Why? Because it gives you the specific understanding of the particular subject. Okay, consider there is a disaster management. Now the entire analysis, entire information will be dealt as part of the Yojana as far as the disaster management is concerned. Consider there is the what do you say, the digital governance. Okay, now what do you call it as the e-governance. Okay, now if there is a topic on e-governance, suppose if the Yojana magazine is released this month on the e-governance, now the entire information on the e-governance will be provided as part of this particular magazine. Clear? So the Yojana monthly magazine like Yojana and also Kurukshetra becomes important. Okay. Now, if you are fine with these three sources, then obviously you need not go for any other source. You need not go for any other source. Why? Because any other source that you read is the filtered version or is the concise version of all these three sources. Okay, so initially when you are starting your preparation, or initially when you are what do you say, entering into the field of competitive examination, see through it that you are well acquainted with these areas, well acquainted with these sources. Okay, manaki once a newspaper, PIB and also the monthly Yojana magazine or the Kurukshetra magazine on comfortable out there, down the line 2 to 3 months low, the rest of your preparation with respect to the current affairs will become very, very easy. Clear? So this is the importance of current affairs. First, we have understood what are the areas that we need to understand, how the current affairs is applied to the subjects with respect to the UPSC is concerned. We have also understood what are the how the current affairs questions can be asked from different areas as far as the prelims examination and as far as the mains examination is concerned. And also we have understood what are the sources of the current affairs. Clear? Now let us briefly understand the economy subject that is dealt as part of the UPSC, or what is the initial thing that need to be done as far as the economy subject is concerned. See, as far as the UPSC examination is concerned, we have the topic called as the Indian economy for both prelims and mains. Okay, we have the Indian economy for both prelims and mains. Now, you can expect at least 10 to 50 questions as far as the prelims is concerned, and also you can expect at least 100 to 125 marks as far as the mains examination is concerned. So, there is a significant weightage to the economy. Okay, now when there is a significant weightage, you need to have the primary understanding of the subject in the form of the NCERT. You need to read the Indian economic development book. You need to read the macroeconomics book. Okay, the Indian economic development and macroeconomics. These are the two books that you need to read for sure. Okay, it is good if you read the if you start your NCERT reading from 6th class, but these two books becomes very, very important as far as the giving the fundamentals or making you well acquainted with the fundamentals is concerned. Okay, next would be the classroom discussion. Now, see, economy is not all about data. Economy is not all about numbers. Okay, economy is all about the key concepts. Once if you are comfortable or once you are well aware with these concepts, the rest of your preparation with respect to economy will be easy. Why? Because now you need to apply those concepts to the budget, or you need to apply those concepts to the survey. That is the only thing or the additional work that you need to do. But the key concepts or the fundamental concepts as far as the economy will be same. There will not be any kind of changes with respect to the key concepts. Okay, or there might be a 1 or 2% of the change. Okay, at the end of the day, if you are well acquaintance, or if you develop well acquaintance with the concepts, the rest of your preparation with respect to the economy would be a cakewalk. Okay, so the key concepts are dealt as part of the classroom discussion. That is the one thing. And also the analysis part, okay, or the contemporary Indian economy also will be dealt. Contemporary Indian economy. Okay, these are the two things that you need to do initially as far as the economy subject is concerned, Indian economy subject is concerned. Now, once these two things are completed, now you will start applying the contemporary things or the current affairs that you read to the ట్రెడిషనల్ సబ్జెక్ట్. మనం కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్లో భాగంగా ఏవైతే ఎకానమీ గురించి చదువుకుంటామో అది బడ్జెట్ రూపంలో కానీ, ఎకనామిక్ సర్వే రూపంలో కానీ, లేకపోతే ఇతర ఏమంటారు ఏరియాస్లో కానీ, ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అనేవి మనము క్లాస్ రూమ్లో జరిగిన డిస్కషన్కి లేకపోతే అప్పటి వరకు మనకున్న కాన్సెప్చువల్ క్లారిటీకి అప్లై చేసుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ హౌ యూ కంప్లీట్ ది సిలబస్ ఆర్ యూ కంప్లీట్ ది ప్రిపరేషన్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు ది ఎకానమీ. Clear? So, see, any subject, don't start preparation with prelims or don't divide your preparation into mains and prelims. First, complete the main syllabus. First, complete the main syllabus. Now, once you complete the main syllabus, knowingly or unknowingly, 70 to 80% of your preparation with respect to prelims is completed. Okay, yes, classroom lo bhaganga we might divide at certain times we might divide the subject into prelims and mains, but when it comes to the preparation you need to complete the mains preparation first, so that naturally 70 to 80% of your preparation with respect to the prelims is completed. Clear? So this is the orientation with respect to the current affairs and also with respect to the economy. Okay, current affairs is equally important, economy is equally important, and as far as the UPSC examination is concerned, every subject is equally important. Okay, why? Because we don't know what would be the trend or what would be the weightage. Okay, sometimes the economy 10 to 15 questions can be asked, sometimes 20 to 25 questions can be asked, sometimes current affairs 5 questions can be asked, sometimes 15 questions can be asked. Okay, so it is not that you cannot guarantee or you cannot give particular weightage to one particular subject as far as the UPSC is concerned. So you need to be well prepared, you need to have the well awareness with respect to all these subjects. Clear? Thank you.